Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about episode 5 of Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight. This episode was focused on Mahiru, and to be really honest, I think that she was my least favorite out of the girls so far from what we've known. But this episode was very interesting because we were able to see more of her, we were able to see her feelings, her motives, her reasonings, and I think that the most interesting thing about this episode, this was a discovery episode, not only for us, but for Mahito herself. We started this episode with a very visual representation of how Mahito feels when she is loving something, which was that glittery thing, that shiny thing. And obviously, that shiny thing came from Karen. Karen is the love of Mahito's life, and she is the reason Mahito fights. She is the reason Mahito trains. She's the reason Mahito wakes up every single morning. So far, that's everything that's been established by Mahito, her dependence and her relationship with Karen. And in this episode, we were able to notice that Karen doesn't really take much importance in everything that Mahito does for her. She likes Mahito, it's obvious that she does, but she doesn't really think that she is so dependable on Mahito as Mahito likes to think. And that gave reason to Mahito. But when when Hikari came, the dynamics completely changed. Kanin is now focused on getting first place together with Hikari. And so Mahiru was left all by herself. She doesn't have someone to train with anymore. She doesn't have to wake Kanin up anymore. She doesn't have to help Kanin anymore. And that's frustrating to her. But I have 2 points to talk about that. First one, it's kind of understandable. The class, the top of the class, was divided into four duos. So all of the girls had duo dynamics, and for Karin, the duo was Mahiru. So Mahiru had Karin on her duo. Mahiru had Karin with her, and she relied on Karin as much as Karin relied on her, because as we saw, everything Mahiru did for Kanen, she was actually doing it for herself as well. She was finding it a motivation to keep herself going. So the dual dynamic broke when Hikari came, because now Karen is more, she's leaning more towards Hikari, and Mahiru is left all alone without a pair, while all of the other 8 girls have a pair. So Mahiru is training all by herself. She's spending time all by herself. She's going to the trainings all by herself. And that must feel very, very frustrating. I'm putting myself into Mahiru's shoes, and I would feel really frustrated. And it's impossible not to look at Hikari and say, "You're the reason that everything is happening. You're the reason. You are the one to blame." But it's not really Hikari's fault. We know that. But when you're in Mahiru's shoes, you kind of point the finger, and that I think that's so human. That's so human to do. But I have another thing to say about it. I think that one of the worst things you can do to a character is write that character totally dependable on another character to exist, and to and that other character is the catalyst to this for this character to work. And that's how they wrote Mahiru so far. That's why I think that she was the least interesting of all the 9 girls. Even though I don't like Hikari as much, but I think that Mahiru is even less interesting than her, because everything about her geared towards Karin, and she totally cannot see herself as someone who is possibly who has other ambitions in life. She can't. She only sees herself as worthy of something if Karen is by her side. If not, she's totally worthless. She's worth nothing. She has no talent. She doesn't shine like the other girls. And that's so horrible. I think that's a very lazy writing. That's very lazy writing because it happens in lots of stories, especially when you have like a girl who is falling over a guy in shonen, for example. There are lots of female characters in shonen stories that only function because they love one of the guys, and everything in their lives runs around that guy that she loves. And I hate this type of writing. And that's more or less what they did with Mahiru. But Mahiru received a box from her grandmother with full of potatoes. She's a countryside girl. We learned that about her, and we learned a little bit more about her past and who she was before she came to this school. And we learned that she was a baton. She trained with the baton and she was very talented with that. And then because of that, she was able to audition to the school and she passed. And so she left the countryside so that she could attend the school that I forgot the name already. And so we see that her grandmother is someone who treats Mahiru very dearly, and she considers Mahiru to be very special. And so, because of that, I feel like Mahiru's missing something very important there. There are people outside of the school rooting for her, and if she's on the top of the class, I mean, if she's one of the 9 best, there's something special in her. There must be something special in her that she is not noticing. There must be something. And then we get to a scene in which she actually confronts Hikari about everything that's been going on. We had Mahiru throwing things, and she was so annoyed and she was so frustrated she started throwing things. And then in one scene, she ended up confronting Hikari about Hikari stealing Karen from her. And Hikari didn't really give an answer, and she just said that stealing is not a word that should be used in this context. And that's true. I mean, that's Karen's choice. There's no stealing there. And Mahiru wanted things to go back to how they were. But anyways, Mahiru ended up being called for an audition. And to my surprise, her opponent was Karen herself. I was not expecting that. I thought Mahiru was going to fight someone else. But when I saw Mahiru was going to fight Karen, I said, okay, Mahiru is going to fight just to lose. Karen would never lose a match twice. Not twice. Like she lost a match in episode 3, and then the next match she wouldn't lose, like back-to-back matches like that. And then she ended up losing, of course, but the match itself was very interesting. Mahiru was totally out of her mind. She was psycho in that match. She was really scary, and she was like those psychopath characters that love a character so much and then they want to kill them, like a yandere type of character. But she didn't really want to kill Karen. She just wanted to win the battle so that she could keep the things the way they were. But the most important thing about the battle was how it was fought. Mahiru has a very interesting. She has a mace as a weapon, and I like it. But a mace as a weapon in a setting like this, I don't think it would work. How would you take off the coat with a mace like that? But anyway, she was able to fight, and when they fought, she batted Karen, and they started going in inside lots of other combats, and we saw all the girls combating, and we saw 3 other combats. There was one girl missing. I didn't even notice who it was, but all the girls were fighting, and we were able to see that. And we were able to see Hikari fighting Claudine. I hope Claudine won. I really hope Claudine won. But in the end, Mahiru and Karen were fighting by themselves, and they were confronting each other, and Mahiru said everything she wanted to say to Karen. But Karen finally opened her eyes and told her, look, you are shining as well. You're here with us, you're training, you have a very beautiful voice, your dancing is great, your stage presence is great. You are not seeing that in yourself, but you are shining. And she was able to remember when she came to the school, before she arrived in the school, what type of actress she wanted to be, what type of feelings she wanted to evoke on people. And she wanted to evoke kindness on people. And she totally forgot that to focus herself on Cotton. And well, that's a horrible thing for you to do to yourself. And I am so glad that she was able to wake up and she was able to see herself as to who she really is inside. And now I think that she's going to bloom by herself and not really depend so much on Karen to define who she is. Obviously, Mahiru lost at the end. I don't really think she even had a possibility of winning this match, and she lost at the end, but I think that she was ultimately happy with what happened because that battle was really important for her to learn more about herself and to learn more about her dreams and about her will and about her talent, to start to see herself as a talented person because that's who she is and she was not seeing it. Another thing that was important in this episode was the choice of the main characters of Starlight, the play they're doing. Two girls were talking to Banana-chan about the main characters, and Banana told them they're obviously going to be Maya and Claudine, but they told her, no, this is a time for a change. They were already main characters last year, and now I think Hikari and Karen would work perfectly as main characters. So I think that things are going to start changing now. Things are going to start appearing in different dynamic. Different dynamics are going to start appearing. And the girls are going to start seeing Karen and Hikari as threats, especially Claudine, because I think Maya is already seeing them as challengers. But the other girls, not so much. But they have to open their eyes because those two are coming. And so I'm obviously very curious to see more. This show is amazing, and episode 5 was really great. You know, the visual presentation of the battle, stunning. I really like when they do that. The battles are amazing and they are so well choreographed. I really like it. Anyways, guys, that was my view on episode 5. Please leave a comment with your opinions and let's keep our talk in the comment box below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and until next time, bye bye.